It's Mark back again with another Photoshop tutorial. This time we're going to look at a method of getting rid of people from some of your photographs, making it very easy to do that in Photoshop, but then use that technique in a way you might not have thought about before. So firstly, demonstrate what the technique is about. Here I've got a picture, very mediocre picture, not very good, of Tynemouth metro station. And this guy and this dog, I don't want them in the picture for whatever reason. I just don't want them in the picture. I could use lots of different tools in Photoshop, including selecting them and using content aware fill. Or indeed, I could have waited until he was kind enough to walk all the way out of the shot and risk someone else coming in. So what I would do in circumstances like this, I would just wait a second and a half or so, and there's my second picture, and he's walked out the way, and it looks like he's grown another dog. I didn't see a black Labrador with him. Oh yes, there it is. There's the legs, the black Labrador, just behind him there. Right, so anyway, he's moved out the way. So the easy way to get rid of him, I first need to align the layers. So highlight both layers. I then go to Edit, Auto Align Layers. Click OK, let it do its stuff. And now if I switch off the top layer, forget the guy, but if you look at the station, it is rock solid in both, so they're perfectly aligned. So now what I can do is put a mask with the mask tool there on the top layer. It's a white mask, so it does not hide anything. We're still looking completely at the top layer. And if I paint on that with black, it will hide the stuff from that layer. So B from a brush tool, and I've got a brush, a soft brush, 300 pixels in size. Size doesn't matter. You can adjust the size with your left hand and right hand, bracket key, but you don't necessarily have to over egg your omelette, so no point in having a huge brush there. I want black. I'm already on black. There's my foreground and background colours. If they weren't like that, no matter what colour is on them, red, blue, whatever, pressing D returns them to the default of white foreground, black background, as I've just demonstrated, and pressing X toggles between them. So I'll leave it on black. I've aligned the layers. Man and dog's gone. Oh, let's get rid of this little one as well. Dog gone. There you are. Dead easy. Now I've demonstrated that, I want to give you a different way of using that. So let's throw this away because they're poor pictures and I'm not interested in keeping them whatsoever. So here is another scenario. Now, despite what North Tyneside Council might or might not do, I doubt pretty soon that this barrier is going to get up and move out the way like the guy did with his dogs. So this is more probably for a one of using content aware fill with some selections and some cloning and such to put it back in. But I put it to you that there is a way of really stealing a march on doing that. And that is exactly the technique we've used before. Now if I switch off the top layer, if you notice where the barrier goes through the hands and the elbow, I've just changed my perspective. Actually, the whole picture's changed, and so it doesn't show very well. So let me auto-align the layers first, like we did. Highlight them both, edit, auto-align layers, let it do its stuff, and come back. Now, the statue is pretty much the same, and now you can actually see, because I changed my perspective by crouching down a little bit, that barrier has moved much higher up his hand, his left hand, and much higher up his right arm. So we can do exactly the same thing. So if I put a mask on there, white mask, clicked on the mask tool, we've still got a black brush, so I don't need to change anything there. And if I just do this, it's a little bit of lag on my brush from, that's because it's doing the screen recording at the same time. There you go. Now, those pictures were different. I'll just prove that again. Look, look at the statue. Definitely a different perspective. But I put it to you, you can't tell. Not in this circumstances. you cannot tell that that was the case. So this is one way of removing obstructions that are horizontal. If there's a gap between them and the subject behind, and that's just crouching down a little bit or going on tippy toes a little bit, just to get enough so that whatever the horizontal obstruction is in a different place against your target. And you can do this. Now, just to prove that, if I come over here and try and brush this out, nothing happening. I'll switch the layer off. If you keep watching this, I'll switch the layer off. And the reason is because that pole is still vertically exactly the same place. Because I didn't change that aspect. I crouched down and up, changing horizontal things. Had I wanted to do a similar technique for something vertical, let's say I'm shooting a front of a nice pub or something, and there's a lamppost on the pavement outside it, I could take one shot, take 2 steps to my left, take exactly the same shot again, and that would give me just enough perspective to be able to use this technique, and this time erase the vertical, or at least steal a march, really give me a run and jump at actually completing the edit. Now, I'm not going to go on and finish this. That's not what I'm here to do. I just wanted to demonstrate this technique, and I hope you find it useful. And if at the very least, just tuck it away somewhere in your toolbox for when it might prove useful. And until next time, I'll say good night.